Welcome to another episode of Chasing the Wind. I'm Pastor Mark. Glad you joined me today. And I got another thought. There was a bunch of thoughts came out of this Zoom meeting I was on the other day. And this one is, this was a wonderful quote. I'm just going to give it to you. Somebody is waiting for what I have to offer or what you have to offer. I'll contextualize it for you. Somebody's waiting for what you have to offer. We've got the goods, people. If we've got Jesus, we've got the goods. We have got the goods. And somebody out there is just waiting for you to share Jesus with them. Matter of fact, there's another thing I ran into the other day, and they were talking about, someone who had been to a conference, and at this conference, it was evangelism conference. And one of the things that one of the plenary speakers said was, there's people out there wanting to know about Jesus, and we need to be bold enough to tell them. Somebody is out there is waiting for what we have to offer. I remember one time I had gone back, it was about 3 years ago, as a matter of fact, my mom had passed away, and I had coffee with an old school chum. Matter of fact, we had almost had our whole education process together, journey together, and we had pretty much had our same faith journey together. We went to the same church, went to the same catechism classes. I am pretty sure that he and I had our first communion together, probably our first confession. We didn't, you had to go in by yourself, of course, but the day we had our first confession, we were confirmed at the same time, and I'm pretty sure we went to all the same catechism classes. And I think from kindergarten up through high school, other than maybe a couple years when he went to another school and I went to another school, depending on where we lived, on which side of town, but we pretty much had the same educational career and spiritual education career. And I had seen him at my sister's wedding, and I'd done my sister's wedding, and I had shared with him, about my faith journey a little bit, but I never did push and talk really about much about Jesus as I could have. And we had coffee a couple years ago, and he goes, "Why didn't you tell me more, Mark?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. Why didn't I tell you more?" Yeah, he had me on that one. He was waiting for what I had to offer. I remember several years ago, probably 5-6 years ago, before the COVID hit, and I shared this story with you, going down to one of the county jails, and was sharing about shame and whatnot, and pretty much this young man came to Christ, and it was a beautiful thing. He was waiting, how God orchestrated everything. God had been dealing with him, and I came in and I was talking to him about what God had been dealing about. It was just a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing, and he was waiting for what I had to offer. And it was thinking about this as I was pondering this with Cornelius in the book of Acts in chapter 10. He calls for Peter. He shows up. Also the man from Macedonia. There's another one, the man from Macedonia. But Cornelius comes, and Peter has this vision. And he says, "You're supposed to come. You're supposed to come." And so Peter finally goes to Cornelius' house because they were waiting for what Peter had to offer. Folks, last week I talked to you about spiritual paralysis, or a couple weeks ago, spiritual paralysis through carnal analysis, and then last week, the idea of leaning in who you want to help, and if God's sending you someone, that is who you should be wanting to help. And then I'm going to take it one step further today, folks. I guess that's a little series. Didn't plan on it being, but that's what it's turning out to. Somebody's waiting for what you have to offer. If you have Jesus, if you have a relationship with Jesus, God is going to bring people. Ask for divine appointments. God, send somebody for me to lead to the Lord, or at least sow the seed. Maybe I'm supposed to sow the seed. Maybe I'm supposed to water it. I don't care. God, what do you want me to do in this situation? Because I have something to offer people. What is it? Maybe it's just a listening ear. Maybe one of your spiritual gifts is compassion and empathy. Maybe your spiritual gift is hospitality, and you're just supposed to have someone into your home or whatever, so that you can just show them the love of Jesus through a meal, or something like that. Maybe what you have to offer is time, and maybe that is something you're supposed to do. Maybe it's helping someone with their yard work or something to that effect. Who knows? You have something that someone needs that Jesus can use to help them see who He is, and to show the love of God to somebody. So, I don't know what else to say with that, folks. Somebody is waiting for what you have to offer. Avail yourself to the Lord that He would put you where you need to be, so that you can God can use you in that situation. I'm gonna leave it right there. Mic drop. I haven't said that in these 3 videos I'm doing today, so I just did it. Anyway, keep chasing the wind, because the wind is chasing you. Until next time, I'm Pastor Mark. Grace and peace.